Alright guys, day 22, part 1. So in this video I want to talk about the intention behind building a business. So the way I see it, there are two reasons for wanting to build a business. One, it's to generate consistent cash flow so that you can have a consistent stream of income from the business and use that to invest in other assets. The second reason is to eventually exit and build up equity and intellectual property, essentially. And so I think that's an important distinction to understand, because if you're pursuing an opportunity or a vehicle that's going to take you several years to build, and your sole goal with it is to develop a consistent stream of income, you really don't have to start a business to do that. You can pursue a high income evergreen skill like sales or coding, ideally something performance based like sales, so that your earning potential is uncapped, and then use that cash flow to invest in assets or to pursue more lucrative opportunities like starting a SaaS company that you can exit, an e-commerce brand or whatever. I know online that people keep talking about the agency model, agency this, agency that, whereas the reality of it is that it's very, very difficult to build an agency in such a way that you'll be able to exit. As in, and for those of you who don't know, exit basically just means selling your company. In order to do this, you have to remove yourself from the operations of your business. You have to be able to ditch the country for a couple years, come back, and still have a consistent stream of income, consistent revenue increase and growth from whatever company it is that you automated. It has to be automated essentially, and doing that through labor is extremely difficult. Very few businesses are actually able to pull that off. The best way, however, to set a company up for an exit is to leverage technology. And so if you build a technology company, if you build a SaaS product, if you build something with code, something with technology, you can remove yourself from the business much more easily, because you can actually automate fulfillment, you can automate sales, you can automate service delivery, which is just fulfillment, you can automate managing relationships with customers. You can have very few employees relative to the number that you would need in a traditional business if you were to go the SaaS route, if you were to go the e-commerce route, for example. Basically, if you're leveraging, if technology is your main source of leverage when you're building a business, then yeah, it's something that's in an evergreen niche. It's highly profitable. Even if it takes you years, it might potentially be worth it if you can actually build that company to the point where you can automate it, remove yourself from the business, and then sell it for a lot of money. If you can build a company to actually make an exit, that is the kind of company that you want to build. That is the kind of company that you want to invest the time, effort, and energy required in order to build. It doesn't make sense to build. It doesn't make sense to pursue an opportunity or build an entire business for the sole purpose of consistent cash flow. There are much easier ways to do that, and there are much faster ways to do that. Okay, something like sales, for example, has a very low barrier to entry. Now, assuming that you can get really good at it and also find a really good offer to sell, you can make multiple 5 figures a month, which is multiple 6 figures a year. And there are even instances in the right niches, in the right industries, where people make millions and millions of dollars of sales. Think about real estate, for example. Is it going to take a while to get good at? Yeah, of course. It takes a while to get good at anything. But with something like real estate, you could sell a $100 million house and you could make 2.5% commission on that. $100 million, 2.5% commission. That's over $2 million, 2.5 million to be exact. Now, of course, most people aren't going to sell a $100 million house, but you get the point. All right, there are better ways, there are easier ways, there are faster ways to develop a consistent stream of income, to develop cash flow so that you can deploy that cash to invest in assets, to invest in things that help you buy your time back. Okay, if the business that you build is something that you can't automate, which means it's not something that can operate without you, you're basically just trading your time for money in a glamorized way. Right? If you're an agency owner and you're doing every single thing yourself, you're just a glorified contractor. If you're an agency owner and you have a bunch of employees, but the second you leave, everything falls apart and it crumbles, you have no systems in place, you have no one to take care of your team, you can't completely detach yourself from the business, then you don't actually own a business, you just run the business. Okay, yeah, you technically own it from an equity standpoint at least, but the point is the business isn't really working for you. right? You can't completely detach yourself from it. And to be honest, you can't completely detach yourself from any stream of income. Of course, you're going to have to manage it and maintain it, no matter what, at least to a certain extent. But if you're constantly working, on the business, in the business, whatever, to keep it from falling apart, and if you just remove yourself from the business for a temporary period of time, even if it's just a month or a week, and that thing falls apart, if the revenue drops, if the profit drops, if basically your business doesn't perform the way you need it to, if it doesn't provide the cash flow you want it to generate for you on a consistent basis without an extreme amount of effort on your part, then that's not an asset. All right, yes, it's a way for you to produce income, but it's not the most ideal way. There are much better ways to do it. All right, and for the record, a service-based business, unless you're leveraging technology and you're building an info product of some kind, or a SaaS product, or transitioning into an e-commerce brand where you have some kind of product that's actually fulfilling the service for you, rather than something custom like running managing social media, running Facebook ads, running TikTok ads, running YouTube ads, doing anything like that, any kind of social media marketing, really, because that's what most people talk about in the agency space, SMMA as they call it, social media marketing agency. Like, if you're doing something like that, it's not something that you're probably not going to be able to sell something like that, right? Now, for the record, I have never built an agency before. In fact, I've never built a successful business before. I have started businesses in the past, but none of them worked out. They failed miserably. So I'm not someone who's speaking from experience, but as someone who's deciding on, who's still trying to decide on which kind of vehicle I should pursue in order to achieve my goals. And my current goal right now is to generate consistent cash flow on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, like whatever time frame you choose. My goal is basically just to generate consistent cash flow so that I can use that money to invest in assets that will enable me to buy back my time, and also use that money to pursue a more lucrative opportunity, and something in technology, something in e-commerce, something that basically leverages technology as its main form of leverage. And so that's my goal. And as of right now, as I'm looking at both the agency model, the remote closing model, for example, which isn't an actual business model, it's just you closing deals for clients. So it's basically just trading your time for money, but a lot of money, and it's based on performance, not the actual amount of time and effort you put into it. Of course, you're gonna have to put a decent amount of time and effort into it in order to get good at it, and in order to perform. But the point is, your income is uncapped. It's something that's commission based. I'm basically just trying to decide between these two business models, as someone who hasn't yet built a successful business before, as someone who doesn't have much money or any money really. This online brand, it really doesn't cost anything for me to produce these videos. Eventually I'm going to start investing into the channel. I'm actually planning on purchasing an animation software that's going to help me make my videos more engaging for you guys, so as to improve the retention rates on the videos, and also so that I can provide more value to you guys by breaking up complex topics into simple illustrations or diagrams that are easy for anyone to understand, so you can actually use the information that I give you and apply it to benefit your life in some way, shape, or form. At least that's what I hope you do with it. I think that's it for this video. I just really wanted to document my thoughts and share my perspective on what vehicle you'd want to choose and how you want to assess it. Even if you you really don't have to listen to me when it comes to choosing what vehicle you want to utilize to build your wealth, because I'm not speaking from personal experience in this regard. I'm way out of my depth here. But if you want to at least take away my method of thinking about this, my method of evaluating which vehicle to pursue, which opportunity is the best, which opportunity is going to enable me to achieve my goals the fastest, the most efficiently, then maybe you can adopt the mindset that I'm using, which is just objectively evaluating every single opportunity out there and really asking myself and really considering the limitations of my current circumstances, and then using that to make an informed decision as to what I should pursue. So I hope you found some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.